Hello and welcome to this video on Saturn's conjunction with Mercury in Mula Nakshatra. Now this particular conjunction is going to happen in stages. This video is about the first stage of the process, which is going to take place between the 21st of November and will come to a close on the 13th of December. And that's a really long time for Mercury to be conjuncting a planet, isn't it? And so you might be wondering why. Well, the answer to that particular question or conundrum is the fact that Mercury goes all the way to the edge of its conjunction with Saturn and then stations and goes back retrograde through Mula Nakshatra. Okay? And so this process takes place between the 21st of November and the 13th of December. And I'll do another video as we get closer to December for when Mercury goes back over its conjunction with Saturn. But looking at the first stage of it, the most intensive bit of this particular period is likely going to be between the 28th of November and the 9th of December. So what is this all about? How does it affect you? Well, first of all, in order to see how it affects you personally, we need to understand where it's transiting in your particular horoscope. If you want me to take a look at that for you, you can please feel free to schedule an astrological consultation with me. There's a link up above in the video. On the broader scale, let's get an understanding of generally what this is about for you as an individual. Sometimes there are certain things that we don't want to accept. Let's face it, life can be challenging sometimes, and we can either see life's challenges as something, dumped upon us by some cruel parent who's wanting to punish us for things that we did bad in the past, or we can see our life and the challenges that we face as something which tests the strength of our soul and tests the connection that we have to our soul. And I think it's much better to look at it in the latter bit, because sometimes we have challenges. Sometimes we can overcome those challenges and still succeed. And sometimes we have to have a realization. We have to understand something that we may not want to immediately understand, but that moment, that very moment that we accept and make peace with that thing that we're initially not at peace with, that's the moment that the progress begins to happen. And that's what this particular transit is all about for you. Now, most likely in several areas of your life, right? And I'm not meaning to kind of scare you by saying several areas of your life, but you have to understand what Mercury rules in your horoscope. You have to understand what Saturn rules in your horoscope. And you have to understand where this transit is in your own particular horoscope. But somewhere in those several different places, you have a very strong desire for things to move in a particular direction. The only thing is you're encountering some resistance. The best thing that you feel that you can do in association with that is to rise to the challenge and try to overcome that challenge. As you do that, the desire is building inside of you to apply your skill, apply your intelligence in order to overcome this difficulty. But it seems like the more you try to pull together all of your resources in order to do that and to actualize all your skills, it seems like things just are either not quite there or not getting there at all, right? And you can continue to push and push and push against the resistance, and maybe you feel like you just don't have a choice. You just have to. And maybe you do have to, right? But there's going to reach a point in this particular cycle where the ego, the part in you that is small, and we all have that part of you that is small, is going to have to surrender to the part of you that's much greater. Okay? You may have to accept that, at least for now, things are not going to go that way. And were they to go that way, would it actually be beneficial for you? Now, I can hear what you're thinking. Well, hell yes, it's going to be beneficial for me because I need to do this. I need to, let's just create several different scenarios. I need to make my relationship work out well. I need to earn vast amounts of money. I need to get a job. I need to do all these things, right? So, hell yeah, you need for those things to happen. But those things may not happen in the way that you want them to. But that very moment that you take a serious look at things, right, and create a serious understanding within you, or make yourself open to a serious understanding, I should say, within you of why those things may not be possible, that's the moment that you'll begin to make true progress. Okay? Now, in connection with this, one part of you is looking to be validated for your actions. You want to be seen as trying and doing the best that you can, right? And first of all, do you see yourself as trying and doing the best you can? Right? If you're looking for somebody else to give you that validation, or if you're looking for the universe to give you that validation by creating the exact set of circumstances that you're wanting it to create, it's likely not going to happen. And you need to be at peace with that. But as long as you can accept, I'm doing the best that I can, but maybe the best that I can do is not good enough, does that mean you need to force your hand? No, it doesn't mean you need to force your hand. It means you need to look at the underlying root cause of what might actually be wrong with this situation. Now, people give Mula Nakshatra a bad reputation. It's associated with Nariti, the goddess of destruction and dissolution, right? And it's known to create some difficulty. But this is the first of the Sattvic foundation nakshatras. It creates the awakening of awareness that points us in the direction of reconnecting with our soul. When we get out of alignment, when we become too focused on the material to the extent that we lose our connection with the soul, Mula awakens us to the lack of power of our ego. But we think that will that we have within us is very strong. But we're seeing will with a small little w rather than will with a great big W, right? And that will with the great big W is the divine will, which is also a part of us too. But we're connecting to that oopsie beansy little part of the wheel, right? Not the wheel that turns round and round, but the wheel, W-I-L-L. And we're expecting that eensy beensy little bit to be able to achieve wonders. It's not going to be able to because it doesn't have the big wheel on its side. But the moment that it connects to that big W, that's the moment that things begin to come together. Maybe not in the direction that you want them to, but in the direction that you need for them to. So as I mentioned before, this is going to be connected with whatever Saturn rules in your horoscope, whatever Mercury rules in your horoscope. During this time, you're going to be trying to manifest more effectively what Saturn is associated with in your horoscope, because Mercury has a manifesting quality. So it's going to try to strengthen that, right? But it's connected to all of those areas, and in addition to where this particular transit is happening in your horoscope. If you'd like a little bit more information on that, as I mentioned before, you can schedule an astrological consultation with me through the link which you'll see at the end of this video. And as we're talking about that, that's going to do it for this look at Saturn's conjunction with Mercury in Mula Nakshatra, which is going to be going on again between the 21st of November to the 13th of December for the first phase of it. And the most intensive bit is going to be between the 28th of November and the 9th of December. Until next time, people, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.